Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
Gonna kill you today, Steve.
My allergies.
I mean, how are you, Steve?
I'm a little. My allergies are flared up today. I don't know if it's because we were down in Massachusetts and I'm allergic to the entire state, or the Major League Baseball game set my allergies off.
I don't think that was it.
Or it could be because I have my brother's dog and maybe I'm not used to her
That's possible.
dander or fur.
You came up to it. I'm like, wait, you got another dog today.
We'll make her famous when we have a lighter-hearted episode, but you've got 4 days of notes that you've been champing at the bit to put on the air.
Long weekend. Beautiful. Last 2 days been absolutely beautiful.
A little warm.
Yeah, but...
Just to complain a little bit.
I thought these Texas people don't complain.
No, we complain about everything. We just do everything as well. We just complain about it, but it doesn't stop us from doing it. That might slow me down because I'm a patient man.
I see you got, I don't know, third of the fence up?
Yeah,
it's looking good.
Third of the way.
It's looking good.
My goal was to get up at 5 a.m. this morning and knock out.
How'd that work for you?
Did not work out well because we didn't get back till like 1 o'clock last night, basically, by the time I got in and locked all the doors and everything, brushed my teeth.
Yeah, then my alarm went off this morning. I'm like, whoa, got to get up, got to go feed animals. So the kids tried to blow me up over the weekend. So on Saturday we had the burial for Andrew's dad and sister, who both passed away this past winter.
The Graveside service.
Yes, the Graveside service, and a huge, first of all, huge shout out to the New Hampshire DOT who gave Kyle, who's Andrew's cousin's husband, and he's also my he's our sergeant at arms in our bike group, Live Free or Die Riders, but he works for the DOT, and they gave him permission to bring Sid one last time on the truck and bring his ashes to the cemetery. So huge shout out to them, and thank you very much. That was a very thoughtful thing, and that was very
usually with a bureaucratic process like that, they won't allow.
Yeah, they were great.
But again, I keep being proven wrong, especially up here. That
her dad was one of those guys that just, he's like one of those rare workers that everyone would like to have work for a company, and that was him. And so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. That he was just that guy, and he loved working for the state. And we were joking, we're gonna put a shovel up against his box, so like standing around with a shovel, because we used to joke about that, But so yeah, after that you were all dressed up too, looking good. You complained I had shorts on though.
Yeah,
they were black shorts, white shirt. I wasn't dressed like this.
And you said you almost wore a tank top.
I almost did because it was pretty warm. But so anyways, the kids got back before we did, so I told Adrian, I'm like, hey, start to grill. So he starts it, and I was like, weird, the temperature gauge isn't working, which it has been working, and so I don't know. But earlier they put aluminum foil on it because, well, it's a Weber grill. It's a nice grill, except the things that hold the fire from coming up into the,
the flavor enhancing bars.
The flavor enhancing bars are gone, like they don't exist anymore. So Andrew thought it'd be easy, like, hey, put aluminum foil on, because I get like stressed out and mad a lot of times when it starts to like flame up and then there's a fire and like.
Yeah, you can't really control.
Yeah, it's a pain. So they thought that would help.
Well, the grease will usually, if you don't have those up, the grease will drop in and
it just makes
your whole steak or whatever on fire.
Yeah. So anyways, John started it. Me and my uncle were standing there. I'm like, it's weird. Like, doesn't feel hot. Like, not really, whatever. So I turn it off, turn back on, push the button in. All of a sudden, blew the aluminum foil up, burnt the hair off my arm. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, that was the beginning
I'm glad you can laugh about it. You didn't, throw Adriano off the deck and say, hey, man, you should have poked some holes in this.
Nah, that's all right. I'm still standing here, sitting here. Facial hair is
good on you, because I would at least have yelled for about 5 minutes until I felt better.
They wouldn't have done me any good.
See,
So you notice once you get more kids, it beats the will down inside you, and you're just like, it's not worth it.
Well, it's just the three of us for another couple months.
Yeah, sometimes you're fortunate with that, and sometimes not. Like, we always have kids at the house, and I always said, like, if you have, my grandfather always said, you don't have kids until you have two, because they fight, and then Andrea's ours, like, once you have more than 3 kids, it's not like, it's not really harder. It's more expensive. It's hard to like plan out, okay, how are we going to go somewhere? But other than that, it's like the same because they kind of hang out in each other. They can entertain each other and stuff. But so you try to do the right thing and get it going. But and then the temperature gauge still doesn't work. But then yesterday when we after we left the ceremony on the common, you're like, hey, I want to go down to Arbishon's, and they had those metal things, which is weird. I only need 2 of them, but it comes in a box of 5.
Oh, I should buy 3 of them off of you if they fit in mine.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work out
Do you
perfect.
know how long they are, what the measurements are? We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't want to hear our
They don't care.
Weber grill. Other than you almost dying from one, that's almost entertaining. Like a
Trust
hospital
me,
trip.
some people that watch
a
the show,
stitch in the arm.
some people just like that listen to the show, don't like the show but listen to the show, will be very glad. Be like, it's too bad he didn't. But and then Saturday night, I'm so confused. No, Sunday was a service. I'm so confused right now. Today's Tuesday? It's very strange. So
We haven't done a show. We took a day off last week, so it's kind of.
Well, we didn't do one. Yeah, but we haven't done one since Friday. So I'm like, oh, we have all these things to talk about. But so that night, I'm sitting out there, like Kyle was still there, and TJ and Andrea and Fred and those guys, and so I'm like, it's so weird. Like I look up in the sky and there's like this, like ball of light. I guess I don't know. Like you think it's a plane, but it's not because it's not flashing. Planes have flashing light, and satellites move faster, but this thing's going like really slow. And I was like, holy crap, I see a UFO. And then Andrew's like, that's not a UFO. But so I took a picture, and I have an Apple phone. Apple phones have the most horrible cameras ever. Like your camera on your phone is awesome because it's an Android, but Apple's garbage. Like, so I do have a picture, which I'm not even going to waste my time putting it up here because I don't need to poke fun of it. But so
it looks like a raindrop with a flashlight.
Yeah, exactly. So I took a picture and I took a little like 6-second video, and I look, and then all of a sudden Kyle's like, what the hell? Like it disappeared, like gone. So I didn't see it take off or anything, but the light, it was just gone. And I'm like, Andrew's like, that's not a UFO. And I'm like, listen, I've been drinking, but he hasn't been drinking as much. And I'm telling you, he's like, he saw it and it went poof, gone. I was like, so I texted a friend of mine who said that she'd saw some coming back from the Cape one time. And it's like, you know how I'm sure you've seen the videos on all over the world, but there's like a series of lights, these like little balls of light, and then they'll like disappear, or they just do things that aren't normal. And she's like, I saw something like that. I'm like, and I like affirmed, I'm like, you're not crazy. I'm telling you, this is like a worldwide thing. This wasn't as impressive as that. It was just like one little light, but I was like, holy crap.
Did I ever tell you how I thought I heard something one night? This weird noise. I was like, man, what is that noise? I was looking all up in the sky, trying to find what it was. Walked back to grab a couple logs. It was during winter, so I walked to the backside of the backyard edge, and then I realized that what I thought, and my heart kind of fluttered because I was like, oh my God, man, something's near me. Something doesn't sound normal, and it was the heater in the garage had kicked on because it dropped too cold. Totally, because it was coming. It sounded like it was coming from the back of the property, but it was like hitting, I don't know, just the way it echoed or whatever. And then I was able to debunk my own excitedness with, man, it's just a heater.
Yeah, we couldn't debunk this.
I called Nikki out one night, and she was mad at me. She was like, why would you make me look at that? Because I saw probably something similar where it was moving faster than a plane, because you can tell a plane, usually, because they're flashing lights. So it was heading, I don't know, east, and then all of a sudden it shot north. It just like that. And Nikki was like, I can't believe you got me. I don't want to remember that I saw this. Something wasn't right. It was just weird. Whatever it was on a trajectory that I couldn't explain. But it's interesting.
No, it's cool.
And my buddy John Paul says New Hampshire has a lot of sightings of aerial phenomenon like that.
Yeah, there was one back in the 90s that was like a big one that was on. So I love that show, Ancient Aliens. Andrea doesn't like any of that stuff, and I do. Whether you believe it or not, it's interesting, and I love because
entertaining,
and there's a lot of history involved with it too, like with the Egyptians and the Mayans and the Aztecs. There's a lot of that stuff involved, and I just keep an open mind to it, and because come on, we're the only one in the whole galaxy, this huge universe, and all this. Come on now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't think have been explained very well to us because you think about it and they're like, I don't know, let's take the Aztecs, for example, and they'll say that, they sacrificed humans to help change the seasons and everything else, yet they had the most intricate aqueducts to water their crops and move it through mountains and everything else. But yet we're supposed to believe that, the other explanation is the populace was ignorant to the fact that while they're building all these aqueducts and everything else, they're kept in the dark thinking that, oh, we have to sacrifice whatever, animals, humans, whatever it could be.
But look at the Romans, like the aqueducts they had indoor plumb, like toilet, like.
A lot of people don't realize that our technology has been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just find it interesting. That's why I'm like questioning everything.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The X-Files. Right, like isn't that one of their mottos, question everything, or
yeah, they got some
something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and then yesterday morning, so we have all these like little scary masks around the house, and we have a Grinch,
like Halloween mask.
Yeah, like Halloween masks, whatever. There's like this weird looking old man. We have like a Jason mask.
I didn't know if you were talking about N95 masks and surgical masks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me clarify that. I don't have any of that garbage in my house. Okay. So I have like a Jason from Friday the 13th mask, a Grinch mask that I got for Christmas. Well, kind of be funny, but Adelina was actually scared of it, which is weird. She's not scared of it anymore, though, because she used it too much, because she'd go over and open the freezer. So we put the Grinch in the freezer.
So she couldn't get popsicles?
Yes, and that would work for like a couple weeks, and then she's not scared of it. But anyway, so Andrew grabs his mask, and we go in. So Anna and Alicia are in Alicia's room. Anna slept over, and Andrew climbs up on the bed, has the mask, and I'm going to put the video up here in a second, and scared the crap out of Anna. I mean, it was so funny. And it was funny, though, because Alicia, who's already scared of things, like, it's easy to scare her. She's apparently immune now. She's like, just a normal day at my house. So, yeah, check out. We'll put the video up right now. And
what the heck?
it's good for a laugh. So, yeah. And then
Well, do we need to pause for a second while they watch it? How long is that video?
It's only like 10 seconds. No one cares. We'll fit it in there. No one cares about transitions, and this isn't professional stuff right here.
I mean,
We're trying to get there, but
we gotta get there.
So we went to Red
Get
Sox
that green
game.
screen up.
Yeah, we do have a green screen we got to put up, because then maybe I
Yeah,
can
you
play
can
it or
play
something.
it.
I don't know. I'm probably
And we
not.
could like watch it and
Like, oh, yeah.
get our reaction to it.
Yeah, we'll figure
We're
this
getting
out
there.
when we got more time. With so much time that we
Get
have.
this garden finished.
So I went to Red Sox last night. Steve is the reason they lost.
Well, that's because y'all put me down on a row by myself.
That wasn't supposed to.
Ostracized me.
That wasn't supposed to happen either, because Emilio was like, I already got the tickets. I got 4 tickets. So me, you, Devin, and Emilio. He's like, oh, can Sadie go? And I'm like, I can see if I can find tickets. And I managed to find one like literally right in front of us, because my complaint is you can't go on any website that I've seen. And so if someone out there knows differently, please reach out to me, because when I buy Red Sox tickets, I want to like select the seats I want, but you can't. They just put you in a section and then a row, and then you're like, hey, I want 4 seats or 6 or whatever. So you don't have like concerts. You can be like, I want this seat right here, boom, and you buy that seat. It doesn't seem to work. So Sadie was supposed to sit in front of him, is what was really supposed to happen. But then we realized, what was it? Just about when the game was starting, we were in row 4, you were row 3, but we were actually back a whole row before. Like, oh, oops.
We're actually closer to the field.
Yeah, we're actually closer than
Really
we
good.
thought.
Really good seats for.
Yeah, section 36, like center field, and yeah, no, it was fun.
Batting practice. Home
Batting
runs were getting
practice.
hit all around us.
Some of them like
Emilio
way over the
got
green
some
monster.
Baseballs.
Yeah, proud of him. He gave a little boy next to us a ball. That was a good moment. Of course, he screwed his brother and told him that he wasn't having a ball, even though he had 3 of them. Still had 3 of them, and he had 2 of them signed somehow with the Orioles players. But he's down there hustling and trying to get it done, and Devin's just sitting there with me, with us. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, it was fun. We got home early this morning. That's why we're a little tired today.
Yeah, it was about after. Yeah, by the time I got into bed, it was about 1:15,
Yeah,
1:30.
I got up at 7:30 this morning. alarm went off at 7, but then I just almost was like, "Nah, let's just sleep. But I'm like, I got stuff to
I got up
do."
at 8.
I noticed when I came out here, I'm like,
Actually, I scratched that. I got up whenever the alarm went off, and then I made sure that Zeta wasn't going to be tardy to school.
3 days left for them.
Yeah,
At least she was up last night at like 12:30 when I got home. I'm like,
yeah, Zeta had homework too.
she was doing work.
Yeah, this is the most
I'm
homework
like,
I've seen Zeta
well,
do.
all right, I guess
all
you
year
got 3
was
days left. I guess you might as well get it done. But so that was our weekend in a nutshell. Let's talk about some Newport stuff, and then we'll get into the part of the show that will get us arrested one of these days.
No, it won't get us arrested. Just have people
Investigated.
not like us
Allegedly.
and think that we're crazy, wrong thinkers.
I don't care.
I mean, I don't really care. I care to make sure that what I say is sound.
That's true.
That's what I care about.
Right. So great news out of Newport. We always have great. It's funny, like we started the show and like talked about it, and I mean, it all started with the school board meeting, right? Going over the mask thing, and then
Yeah,
we decided to
two and a half
run.
years ago.
Yeah. Then we decided to run. You got on the board. I still go to every meeting. Like I'm like involved there, and then it's kind of like just growing and growing and growing, and so it's not us looking for negative things. It was like, you know, I'd have parents reach out to me, and I'd have these 2 things I still need to fix, which I'm just going to wait for the new super for that. I think will make a big difference. But so it's actually so much easier to find good news out of Newport than you would think it would be, because we could talk about negative things, and that's easy to do, but it's crazy how much good stuff happens in Newport, and especially if you're not paying attention. If you're just like that negative Nancy and all you do is listen to bad stuff, like you don't have to search very hard to find good stuff. So over the weekend, they had the state championship for track and field. They switched it from Saturday because of the weather to Sunday, but we now have 2 state champs in track and field. We have Kyle Ashley, who won the javelin with a throw of 154 feet 11 inches, and he was 4th at shot put at 40 feet 6 inches. And Matt X Lovely won the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles with a time of 16:14 for the 100 and 47:98 for the 300. And she was also finished second in the high jump with 4'10", and then and these kids had multiple personal records for the day. Then Eric Olgerson was 6th for the 300. Taylor Fellows was 5th in the 800. And then just basically congratulations to all the kids on a great state meet, and come back stronger next year. And sounds like was it Emma O'Connor, Tori Williams, Skylar Nelson, and Timmy Fratzel are, I believe, juniors, so will be seniors. So still a lot of good stuff happening next year. And
Zeta was excited for him. She didn't qualify for the state meet, but
it's funny too because we lost a lot of seniors last year, and we were like, "Ooh, wonder how we're going to be this year." And they still did very well. So congratulations to Kyle Ashley and to Maddox Lovely on their state
and a lot
championship.
of those
It's awesome.
track athletes were at the Memorial Day celebration
Yep.
yesterday on the Common.
Yep. It was beautiful.
Good seeing.
I was kind of hoping I'm like, man, guys, can you reload that can? Let's fire that again, because that was awesome.
Yeah, it was deafening.
That was like rattle your body. Like that was like shooting a big thing at Tannerite. That was pretty sweet.
It was, I don't know. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it was great, and wish I saw more people, but there was a bunch of people there. And
Yeah, it was a good turnout. It was.
yeah, it was a good turnout. It was
Wasn't
beautiful
1,000
day.
people, but there were at least 100 or so.
Yeah, it was very nice, and so yeah, a lot of those kids were there as well. So, well, shout out to those two especially, but all the athletes in Newport.
The
And,
Newport Chorus participated
yep, Newport Chorus was there
from the high school. Appreciate that.
America the Beautiful and the national anthem, was it?
Yep.
Yep. And
Mr. Stewart.
yep, it was good. It was a good time. I'm so glad we went, and definitely make that a tradition to go. And so sports this week, really winding down. No Jeff Miller this week. I guess he's sick, so I wished him well, and he has no return date, so I'm speculating what.
Maybe he's just he watched a couple of shows where he raged and was like, well, maybe I need to take a break from.
That's true. I've messaged the kids and be like, "What are you talking about? He's here." Nah, I think because they're changing the Wars night. I should have the date in front of me, but I don't. But I think it's now the 9th or something like that. So they changed it. I'm sure it's because he's under the weather. So, but anyways, today the 31st, unified track as at state meet at Alvarin 3:30, and then middle school softball and baseball is at Sunapee at 5:30, and then tomorrow varsity softball will host Division III preliminary game at 4 o'clock. So they're in playoffs. Go down,
That's awesome.
support them absolutely, and then Lebanon's going to be at the middle school. Softball will be in the B field, and then the boys are middle school are going to be Lebanon at 4:45, and the softball's at 4:45. And then Saturday, track meet of champions in Sanborn. I don't know who's in that, but those are on the site. So yeah.
And tomorrow's the middle school and high school family step up night.
Yes, step up 6 o'clock for parents, and then I believe it was 10:30 for the will be freshmen, and yeah.
Then June 2nd, the last academic day for the seniors.
It is crazy, so crazy. A couple more days.
I know. I remember those days vaguely. Almost 30 years ago for me. I'm getting old.
21 this year for me.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
Can you believe? I mean, when you think about it, like that's 21 years ago, and sometimes it feels like yesterday, and other times it does feel like it's over 30 years ago.
It's funny because
it's not quite 30 for me, but it's good.
I don't like. It's so funny. It's a weird thing for me. Like now that kids are graduating, it's different. But I've never liked graduation in the past. I don't know. It brings me back to like school, I guess, where like we're getting older and all this. I think it's that. It's kind of like I don't know. It's more for me. It's more of a somber thing. Like most people, it's a big celebration, right? And it is obviously with my kids now graduating. I don't feel that way as much, but I don't know. You just kind of look back like, God, this is 20 years ago. This was whatever, and so it's interesting. But
yeah,
hopefully the weather will be good on the 8th for them.
8th at 6 o'clock graduation.
The nice thing is, so if you don't have tickets, you still can go. And they now have the brand new bleachers, which I think sit like 500 people. It's huge, which should actually probably be almost.
I mean, that's how
close
it
to
is
as
my
good.
high school. Is everybody that came just sat in the bleachers and watched us, and we were out
Yeah.
on the football field.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool what they're doing. Like I
But
said,
each senior gets 10 tickets to sit on the actual football field.
yeah, and they got squares again, just so you have your area or whatever. Yeah, it'll be a good time.
How early you got to get there to get a good square?
I know that's like the thing. I think you got to like get there early, and which is I don't know.
I think I'm going to be up on the stage, so
They should switch it. It's probably too late now, but they should actually. How last year it was like in the end zone. It was kind of like you should actually turn it, and then you probably could have like 2 rows. So then you have more people in the front. Everyone's
like
closer.
turn it meaning that the seniors are sitting like on the visitor side.
Yes, and that's
And
where
then
the
you can
stage
see
is.
them walk.
Yes, and then like have the stage there so that when people are sitting in the grandstands, they can.
They actually see it, just
Straight,
like if
yes.
you're sitting on the field.
We'll have to make that suggestion to somebody. We'll see how far your
Yeah.
school board power goes.
I have absolutely none. We're all equal, and I don't speak on behalf of anyone, just a reminder, or of the board specifically. These are my own personal opinions.
That's why I put the disclaimer in front of the show.
You have one. It's not, I don't think it's been reviewed by a lawyer.
Hasn't even been reviewed by you. You probably find all kinds of errors.
Oh, I looked at it. I watch the show every once in a while
I don't.
to watch to see if I'm, because my face is paralyzed, so I try to focus on my right
Just
eye.
one side.
I know, but it's the side that you put me on. So when I'm facing you this way, I'm usually like this.
I'm a lefty. It'd be weird if I was over here.
Is that a Seinfeld episode? It is. You don't know that, but it is.
No. Although I was very impressed that you brought Super Troopers for the ride down because we took your car and we couldn't watch it because we were in the front seat, but we could listen to it.
Yeah, I figured
I
that was
love that
because when you
movie.
told me that was one of your favorites,
it's like
and
my
I have
favorite
it basically
movie.
memorized. I don't
It's-
need to see it. I can see it in my, I can watch it internally.
Chief comes in this week. We'll have to talk about Super Troopers and, yeah, love that movie. What was the first one you put in? Oh, Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
Yeah. So we
Always
get
a
to-
classic.
Yeah, we get to listen to that. But so, anyways, meme of the day. Let's offend some people. Let's start the offending section now. Section of the show, segment of the show. There we go. Anyways,
It's not really offensive. It's just your observations and my reaction and trying to calm you down, which you don't generally care for too much.
so anyways,
That's not true though. You've thanked me before whenever I've.
yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
people. That's a funny thing is people that don't know me, I'm sure will watch things or see things and think things about me that aren't positive. And it's like, if you actually knew me, you would know a whole different side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you're a reasonableist. You can actually have a conversation while you're very adamant about certain things. If someone points something out to you that
exactly.
is different than what you've read or seen, then you'll at least give it a listen to.
One of my like super good friends is very, very liberal, like hippie girl, and like I have conversations with her all the time, and because I can have a conversation with anyone and keep an open mind, and sometimes she'll like convince me of something. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that, or the other way around. So that's what's supposed to happen, you know.
Some of that might be from, I've seen screenshots of some of your posts that you do on social media where you give hot takes.
Yeah, because usually what happens is I'll see something, I'll get pissed off, and then I say what I think, and got me kicked off Facebook groups.
You get fired up.
Yeah, I got kicked off Facebook groups again. So Andrew, I'll have to share the show on What's Up Newport and stuff for the next month, because I commented on someone's post, which wasn't even in a group, which was it was, you know,
Deemed offensive by the censorial police.
I mean, it was offensive, but I really don't care what it said. Like, so
Well, that's what free speech is about.
right. So
Because then you can freely associate with people.
right.
Because some people will see that and be like, I don't want to be around this Tim Beard guy.
That's
And that's
cool.
fine. Like, that's what it's there for. So that you can find like-minded individuals that make you feel comfortable.
Easy. The FBI will start investigating. You get mixed up in groups.
Nah, I'm not in any group.
So, anyways, here's the meme of the day. My generation, I am woman, hear me roar. In today's generation, I don't know what I am, hear me whine. Isn't that the truest freaking statement ever?
It's, yeah.
Come on, Steve, tell us what you really think.
No, it's just social engineering. It's been going on since the newspapers have been published. Probably even in Plato's day and Socrates, we can go back and look at how they probably had smarter sounding conversations than we have, but they're quite probably similar.
Yeah.
You can draw an analogy between what they were talking about and what even dopes like me and you talk about on here.
People,
Like I said, we don't sound as educated and as formal as Plato and Socrates, but some of the things that they talked about and questioned are the same types of things that we question. We just do it
but it's funny, though, because you could...
less academic.
I know some certain educated people that sit in that chair right there, and let's have a debate. I'll, like, school you, like, so easy. Like, you may use big words, you may know blah, 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 but so much of this stuff is common sense. Like, straight up common sense.
Well, that's the
And-
question that I always ask is, how do people believe this? And those people are probably thinking, how does a guy like Steve Morris believe this? It's the opposite of what they believe. But I got my opinions through doing a lot of research and a lot of trusting myself to be able to discern what is true and what is not.
Right. So this is another example of the story to show you all the stuff we've said for so long anyways. But so Massachusetts governor so there was a bill. So he vetoed a bill that would require, the bill was for illegal aliens, whatever you want to say.
They're aliens. Immigrants would require that they're doing something properly.
That's true. So just the illegal aliens, people that run across the border and don't get deported anymore. So Congress and the Senate and Mass passed a bill that would give them licenses. And with a license, you can vote and you can do all kinds of other stuff, right? So Charlie Baker, who I'm not a fan of, he's a Republican, but he's not a Republican. I mean, it's Massachusetts, and honestly, I don't give a crap what his freaking political party is, but he did something good. He vetoed the bill. But they've already said that the Democrat-dominated legislation promised a swift override of the veto in spite of Baker's warning about the bill. And then both chambers of Massachusetts legislation passed the bill by overwhelming margins. The House is 120 to 36 in favor of the bill, and the Senate was 32 to 8 margin. And he says, and Charlie says, I cannot sign this legislation because it requires the registry of motor vehicles to issue state credentials to people without the ability to verify their identity. So you could just say whether you or anybody, and you get an ID. So we've talked about voter
It's amazing
fraud
how
before.
our politicians have no qualms
About breaking the law?
like giving away what is our inherited.
Yeah, the people that
Right,
we
yeah.
celebrated yesterday that died for our rights, and we're just going to give them to illegals because why not? They'll vote for me, right?
I mean, that's the theory out there is.
There's got to be something behind it because why would you approve this? Why would you give illegals driver's licenses? So
I mean,
they're going to get
go
driver's
down this
licenses.
rabbit hole and tell you that it doesn't matter which way they vote. But
Now, keep in mind-
now that they can vote, they will vote, even if they don't go and vote, allegedly.
Well, yeah, but with their new driver's licenses, then they can get their welfare and all the other stuff that we can, give them from taxpayers' money. I mean, that's already a huge issue in Massachusetts. Like, Massachusetts is rampant with fraud too. Like, I mean, more than some states, less than some probably. But
I'm pretty sure that if we had an ability to audit every state government and our federal government, that we would find corruption exists. I don't know about rampantly, but there's corruption.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Like there's no point in giving. I don't know. It just
But why are we
baffles
giving?
my mind.
Why are we giving illegals driver's licenses? I mean, are they going to have to pass the test, or are we just going to give them a driver's license?
How? But I don't understand. They can't go get a driver's license.
Well, they can now.
No, but that's,
just gotta
that's
be-
hard work. Like you can't get a
Well,
voter
no.
ID, so how can they get a driver's license? They're
Because now they're going to take this bill. They're going to
No, I'm being
override.
facetious.
I know you are. They're going to override the veto,
because they
and
say
now
that
it's going to be law.
certain groups don't have the ability to get a.
Oh,
ID to
Democrats say
vote.
that minorities aren't smart enough to go get an ID. Huh? That's funny. I find that very interesting. But I'm the racist because of my beliefs.
because you
Yet,
think that
out of their own mouth was minorities can't get driver's licenses because it's too hard. Really? Massachusetts is giving them away to people that shouldn't even be here. Those are
No, I
illegals.
know. It's just that you point out the silliness of their argument like that, and they'll try to redirect, straw man. Like I'm a slippery slope guy. Like if you want to argue against what I do, is because I'll be like, this leads to this, leads to this. Next thing you know, dogs and cats living together, whatever that line is from Ghostbusters. I'm a slippery slope kind of guy because that's usually how it actually happens. Is one thing begets another, and next thing you know,
The other thing I find so weird,
what's that?
Massachusetts, okay? We all have opinions about Massachusetts. If you're from New Hampshire, Flatlanders, massholes, like all that stuff. But Massachusetts is very much made up of blue-collar workers, a lot of industry, whatever. Yet, the state's blue. It's always been blue. It's never made any sense to me because it's just not, like, most people have a middle-of-the-road conservative background if they're blue-collar because they work hard,
if they've
right?
been raised with
Right.
traditional American
I'm not
values,
saying they're Republican or anything, but they're middle of the road. But this state's always been that way. Like, yeah, you have you have a Republican governor, but let's face it, he's not really a Republican governor, just like Phil Scott or Sununu. Like, come on, like. But anyways, so I don't understand how that state, like, it's got to be union based because unions are a huge thing in Massachusetts. We know how unions.
Well, you have the Kennedy influence.
It's true.
A lot of my parents' generation were Democrats because of the Kennedy, not because of the Kennedys.
But it's funny because the Democrats of Kennedy era would totally be middle of the road like Republicans today. It's just how much the shifting has happened.
Yeah, the two-party system has failed.
Yeah. Just like Washington said it would, and it wanted nothing to do with it. Guess we should have listened.
Wise men back in the day.
Right. Yep. So that's that, Bill.
But now you're a bad person for quoting George Washington.
Yes.
Prepare for that.
Because apparently, oh God! All right, so this one really pisses me off. So,
What's got you ticked off now?
New York City drug use sign. So, and I'm gonna put the sign up here. So,
Is that the one I sent you?
it's the one you sent me, and then I found a story on it. And don't be ashamed you are using. Be empowered that you're using safely. New York City Health Department issues eyebrow raising about drug use. And then
ad about drug use. Yeah.
Yeah, on what subways. So
So no personal accountability.
no, so basically, don't be ashamed that you're using. Be empowered at using safely. And then, what is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a powerful opioid. It's small. That can be found in heroin, crack, or cocaine, crack, methamphetamine, ketamine. I don't think it's in ketamine. In pressed pills. Why is it dangerous? Fentanyl increases the risk of overdose, especially among people who do not regularly use opioids. Now, get ready for this part. Prevent overdose. Avoid using alone and take turns. Okay, kids. Listen, kids. Listen closely to this. Very important. Start with small doses and go slowly.
So they're actually telling you how to.
They're
use
advocating
drugs
for you to frickin' use drugs that are illegal. But these dumbasses are the ones that want to take your guns away because you can't be trusted with them. Yet drugs are illegal, and I can get drugs easier than I can get baby formula. But this is what New York City focuses on.
Well, I didn't read the fine print. I saw the "Don't be ashamed you are using." Be
Well,
empowered.
I got more. I got more. Have naloxone on hand, which is Narcan. So if you overdose, you've got Narcan to save your life. Avoid mixing drugs. And then test your drugs using fentanyl test strips that I'm sure will be provided by the New York City Health Department for no charge.
So what happened to telling people, like, you can do better than this?
How about drugs are illegal and no, it's okay now? What? Are you
Well,
kidding me?
they've had the clean needle program for a while. I'm sure that somebody could come on here and quote stats at you that telling them this.
Okay,
However,
but fentanyl increases the risk of overdose. What did we talk about like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? Anyone under the age of 50, the number one cause of death is a fentanyl-related death.
yeah, they should be discouraging people from.
No, this is just encouraging.
No, I know. That's why.
Let's prevent overdose. Keep yourself and your community safe. Don't do drugs. Like, how dumb is this crap? And you wonder why we're in the situation we're in because there's no moral value in this country anymore.
You're gonna
None.
put that up on the screen, right? So
Yes.
everybody can see it.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on the screen. Yeah. So, if you think, no, this can't be real. No, it's real.
I know.
Open
It's
your
crazy.
freaking eyes. Like, I just don't.
That's what drives me crazy.
I would say, well, that's an awful racist freaking meme, too, because it's not
a meme.
minority.
It's an actual
Well,
advertisement.
advertisement. It's minority. Huh.
Well, I'm sure that they have stats showing. Who knows? I'm not going to try to justify it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Own your decisions and try to make better ones. We
Yeah.
all make mistakes. Life's not easy. There's help out there. Try to get help. Don't freaking be influenced by that telling you to feel empowered. Like, don't feel empowered.
Feel empowered? You're on drugs? Congratulations. You're a drug addict. Yay.
We're going to help you do that safely. How about
we're going to get you off
Get
drugs?
you off of those.
Right. Why don't we do that? But
I'm with you on this one. That's why I sent it to you, because I was like, I cannot.
But this is what
believe-
these cities
I was
do.
even like, I said, I can't believe this is
These
a real
cities-
advertisement.
Chicago, New York, any freaking place in California. Like, think about who runs those cities. Look at the crime, which is rampant and out of control. Look at the drug use. Now
And most
they
of
can't
them have the strictest gun laws, and
Yeah.
they have the most gun crime.
and they can't fix anything because, well, let's face it, leftists don't fix anything. They don't build back anything because they've never built anything. They're usually living off mommy and daddy's money. They get into Congress. Now they're living off of us. And now instead we can't fix the drugs. We don't have any answers. So let's just encourage them to use it safely. Destroy your life safely, Steve. Make sure you have Narcan. Do the buddy system. And start slow because we don't want you to overdose.
Yeah, that's like the weirdest part, other than the main tagline.
It's like a freaking instruction.
Feeling empowered,
How
but
to-
also, yeah, like why? Like it's almost like a starter phrase of, hey, before you get started on this journey of drug usage, make sure that you're pacing yourself. How about don't do drugs, find something better,
Yeah.
find a different coping mechanism because fentanyl will kill you.
And you want to tell me that the people in power right now are not trying to destroy our country? You'd have an awful hard time trying to prove that case. And I'd have a real easy time proving my case.
Yeah, I mean, just ask yourself questions and go look up and see what you find. Even in the mainstream media propaganda, you can find articles that show you that something is not right now in this country.
It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, all you do is you teach your kids not to do drugs. You teach your kids don't even touch marijuana anymore because of the risk that could be fentanyl in it.
Well, see, that's the problem that someone will sit over here in this chair and tell you is that not everybody has parents that love them. You're privileged. Your parents cared about you. Not everybody's parents, and it's true, like not everybody's parents take care of their kids. Like not all parents take care of their kids. However, that does not justify encouraging drug usage and everything else. What it should be is empowering people to go out and volunteer to help those less fortunate than them.
Yeah. Let's just pass out clean needles. Just like Biden's crack pipe freaking program that wasn't real, but oh wait, it was real. Huh.
Yeah, that makes it almost...
I wonder if Hunter gets free crack pipes.
I'm sure... I don't know. I mean, you can go to, was it BidenLaptopEmails.com and read about his quest for drugs. I mean, they're in the emails.
Yeah. And every time he talks about
the emails that we were told were fake during the election to make sure that nobody.
Oh, you mean like when Trump got impeached over Russian collusion, and now under oath it was? Excuse me, it wasn't the lawyer. I was wrong. It was the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton that said the whole thing was fabricated under oath, and she knew all about it. Obviously, under oath, this was all in court. So this isn't. So
I'm sure the courts will come back and be like, well, it's a competition, so all's fair in love and war.
Yeah, sure it is.
Despite like laws on the books that tell you that it's not.
Obviously, laws don't matter anymore. I mean, they matter to me and you because they would hang us for anything we did. But you know, if you're in the government, don't worry. You can have the driver's license just because you're illegally in our country doesn't mean anything. Like that's okay.
There's no consequences for actions.
That's okay. Oh, you're gonna do drugs? Just buddy system. Make sure you have your free Narcan. Oh, you need an EpiPen because you're allergic to bees? Sorry, those are going to cost you $800.
So I saw something that I need to look into, but there was a case where somebody filmed somebody, where was it, down in Alabama or whatever, and then the guy ended up dying, and then the girl that filmed the guy last summer that caused all the riots, she got a Pulitzer Prize, and the other guy got life in prison. But you know what I mean? Like, on the surface, now there might be more to it, obviously, but I'm just, you know what I mean? It's eye-catching to make me want to do more research is she gets a Pulitzer, George Floyd, that's who it was, for filming Floyd's death, basically, at the hands of the cops. And then the guy who filmed the neighbors that were chasing the guy who was allegedly robbing houses. I don't know the whole story. That's why I said I got to look into it. But it makes you wonder what's going on. In this case, you get a Pulitzer. In this case, you get life in prison. And granted, I'm sure there's nuance in there that I'm leaving out that someone will probably be like, you're a jackass. You should have looked it up before you mentioned it.
Well, no,
it's eye-catching to see the difference of...
No, Steve, so this is how it works, okay? So if you want to protest that you're not taking my guns, and you went to some city and burnt it down, they would execute you, put you in jail for life. But if you want to be activists and you want to burn down cities over racial things or inequality, blah, 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 that's okay. It's okay. Matter of fact, the past president of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, tweets, as we grieve the children of Uvalde, today, we should take time to recognize that 2 years has passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. This killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him. Yes, shouldn't have happened. Cop should be in jail, that one bad cop. But let's remember George Floyd is what George Floyd was, a thug criminal druggie who held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, but we should put statues up because he is apparently the Rosa Parks of our time. And then he continues on after, in the aftermath of this
I don't
murder.
think a lot of people would agree with it.
No.
I think that they portray it, and there are a lot that would. I don't know. Who knows? This crazy.
So he
world we
continues
live
with
in.
another one, though. In the aftermath of this murder, a new generation of activists rose up to channel his anguish into organized action, launching a movement to raise awareness on systematic racism and the need for criminal justice and police reform.
What does that have to do with the Uvalde shooting?
Well, because, remember, a couple weeks back, never let a good crisis go to waste if you can take advantage of it. How about you do what other presidents have done? Every president in the past has done. You left office, and you just shut your mouth and sit back, and you read books at libraries and all that crap. You don't still get involved and think you are the president. But he probably still is kind of the president.
No, Trump does the same thing.
Yeah, but Trump's going to run again. Well, allegedly. This guy can't run again. He's been there for 8 years. Unless they try changing that, which, But anyways, just because you mentioned that, I was like, hey, let's bring this up,
So
too.
while we're talking about the whole gun control issue, do you got anything over there about Canada?
No. You told me about that last night. I'll let you talk about it.
No, I just think it's crazy that
Trudeau's
trying to use catastrophe in the United States to ban all transfer cells of weapons to put a pause on it or whatever.
Right. Remember Australia gave up their guns, and then they locked away people in health camps. Remember that? But that wouldn't have happened if you didn't take their guns. Venezuela gave up their guns.
That's the craziest thing to me, are all these people who fail to study history and realize that our founding fathers of this country put that in there specifically to protect the citizens from our own government, because all governments throughout history get corrupt over time. It's just a fact.
So
So
you're telling me it's not about hunting deer?
I don't know. That's a lie or a misnomer that.
That's just a bunch of morons that don't know anything about the Constitution.
Or they pretend that they don't. You know what I mean? Like, you have to selectively.
Well, remember, if we're all disarmed, we'll all be safe.
From who? So the government's not going to come in and be like, oh, you didn't like the pill that they're developing.
Steve.
You didn't take your pill last night, Tim.
If we outlaw the drugs.
We're going to watch you stand here and take your pill.
Right.
So that it pings the system and we know that you're a good boy.
No, Steve. If we outlaw drugs, we make them illegal, no one will do them. So if we outlaw guns, we'll all be safe.
Yeah. It'll be a utopia, and everybody will sing Kumbaya.
And let's remember something else.
No one will want what I have, and I won't want what they have.
We're going to skip over your story. Sorry.
That's cool.
Because we're right into something better anyway. So I put this out on Facebook. These are my own words that I used. I don't know, over the weekend I was working at the land and moving dirt, and I was like, wait a minute. So remember, the ones that want your guns are the same people that say men can have babies and men can share a bathroom with your child. I don't think mentally ill people should be telling sane people what they can and can't have. So there's plenty of, like, this is all there. It's not just like hypothetical, like, well, no. There's a woman in Congress in front of a hearing saying, oh, no, men can have babies. And the left pushed all this crap.
And she's not a congresswoman.
No, she's not a congresswoman, but she's there.
Witness or
exactly.
Something that they called in there to.
Yeah. So the people that think men can have babies, which is not possible, and they think that we can dress up as a woman and go in a little girl's bathroom. That's okay, but they're the same people that think we shouldn't have guns. Huh.
Yeah, that's a crazy world we live in. Sometimes that's why I call it a clown world, is because
Yeah, people need to wake up and start realizing.
Just ask questions. They question everything. Just because you were taught something 25 years ago doesn't mean it hasn't changed, or you weren't taught a slant on something that you might be missing something. They might have left something out. We're probably leaving stuff out. Well, we're all flawed, but the point is don't expect somebody to do something for you. Do it yourself.
Well, no, that's the whole. That goes against the narrative of rely on the government for everything.
The government should have very little impact in our lives, like the federal government. Should have very little impact on all of our lives. It should be our state government and our local government that.
Yeah, we created a monster.
Because if I roll into Newport and Newport has a rule or something that I don't like, then I'm not going to live in Newport.
Right. But remember, how long ago was it, Steve, that we were giving, or still giving arms to Ukraine to fight that war, to actual just regular people?
Yeah, there's an interesting quote from about a month or so ago, and it was, I can't remember if it was a politician, it's probably politicians, but they were basically saying, we need to get these weapons in the hands of all civilians so that they can resist the Russians, right? So the same people who are now saying, well, we need to take all of our guns away because, there's no Russia near us, right? Like, because why would you go out and support, and I'm pretty sure it was a Democrat, I'll have to look it up, or I would encourage you all to go look it up, it's out there, unless it's been erased.
But remember,
no, but it's crazy. Like,
we have our own little Russia inside our country. It's in D.C.
Yeah, D.C. is not looking out for our best interests.
No.
If they were, they would be sending, all right, so Ukraine needs some aid, let's send them some aid. However, California needs some aid. Let's dissolve that government that is inflicting all of this to where, like, they're encouraging people to invite homeless to come in and live with them to get them off the street. Like, no. They need to make better decisions. And if they can't, we need to get them the help by having an institution or something that we can refer them to so they can get some help. Like, not everybody, I don't know.
Every freaking thing.
You need to be responsible for yourself. I went out and I worked hard, and I just used myself as an example. I worked hard and I reaped the benefits of it. Why should anybody else get the same thing that I get and they didn't work hard? That's why socialism and communism fails, is because the second that I get told that I'm now going to be an egg farmer and I don't want to farm eggs and I don't like the smell of chickens, and now I'm forced doing this, I'm not going to try very hard because I don't care about the chickens or the eggs because I don't want it smelling. I don't want to smell it. I mean, that's like a very simplified way of showing that it doesn't work that way. And then, depending on the communist government that's in charge, when they find out that I don't want to take care of the chickens and eggs, then I'm no longer useful to them.
Yeah, they'll just kill you.
Yeah.
Ask China.
They'll send you to a gulag. Maybe they won't kill you right off the bat, but they'll gulag you.
Yeah.
Or some type of re-education camp to get you in line so that you want to be the best egg farmer. I mean, that's a very simplified way of looking at it, but that's the way that I see it.
There are Democrats on record saying that Trump supporters need to be re-educated.
Oh, yeah.
But we're making this up, right? This is just pure entertainment here. Do people not, like, pay attention to anything that happens around them?
No, there's I can't explain it. I've told you before, I watch something and I hear something totally different than someone else sitting next to me. I'm like, did you hear that? No.
How could you listen to anything that we just said and not be like, wait, that's not right? How could you be like, oh, no, the sign for the drug use sign? No, man, that's better. That's helping people. No, it's not.
It's encouraging it.
Oh.
Especially when they
Steve,
walk you
give me
through
all your
a
guns,
starter kit.
and we're going to be all safe. Just turn them in. Just turn them in. Everyone will be safe.
No, never happening. Not in America. I'm just, it's one of our foundational principles, the second one.
Yeah. And it was put there to be second, to protect the first one.
Right.
It wasn't about deer hunting. But now Biden's like, oh, we could take your 9mm. 9mm will blow a lung out of your body. That moron probably doesn't even know what a 9mm is.
I'm sure he does. Well, maybe not anymore. I don't know.
Once again,
it's all to get us
40 years
up,
in the government, you've done not a damn thing. I mean, you're responsible for Jim Crow. You're the crime law. And what year was that? 19 whatever that set black people back how far?
90 something.
But
91.
remember, Steve, we're white supremacists, we're racist, we're misogynists, we're fascists, we're all these things. And it's funny because it's the other side that did all those things. Like the KKK, that was the Democrat Party. Who voted against abolishing slavery? The whole Democrat Party. All of it. But now all of a sudden,
The wool has been pulled over people's eyes.
well, why do you think you want to erase history?
Well, no, that's
we
why-
want to erase history because, oh wait, that was us. We did all that. We, as in the Democrat Party, did all of that. Not me and you, not our parents, not conservatives in general.
My parents brought me up to treat people with dignity and respect and to act right and do what I was supposed to do. I don't really care about what you're doing on your property as long as it's not, hurting or. And there's certain things, right? Like there's a set of principles, our Bill of Rights. If you're abiding by the law, I don't care what you're doing over there.
Right.
And why do you need to know what I'm doing? Why do you need to know what I got in my body? Why do you need to know what I'm eating, what I'm thinking about, what I'm watching, what I'm typing into my computer? Like, why are they harvesting all this data? There's just questions that people should ask. Like, the government should not be doing all of this stuff.
No, it was never their purpose, ever. We shouldn't have career politicians that go there and make millions of dollars on our
That I
backs.
can definitely agree with.
But here's the other thing we'll talk about Ukraine is, so supposedly, allegedly, Putin called for a ceasefire and Zelensky's like, nope. Why would Ukraine want to have a ceasefire when we just keep giving them billions of dollars? Why, Steve? If you're getting attacked brutally by this other country, blah, 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 and then like, you know what, let's just call this whole thing off. You would be like, thank God this is over. Okay, yeah, let's do that. No, we don't want to do that. Because how much more money the United States give us? How much more money?
Yeah, money is a motivating factor. But I don't, I would have to read the particulars of the alleged ceasefire that you're talking about to see why Ukraine wouldn't accept it.
There was just a conversation for a ceasefire. It wasn't even like an actual written document of, hey, it was like, hey, all right, let's, end this that we talked about a while ago anyways, but I don't know. So anyways, so the Buffalo shooter, so there's a retired FBI agent in this chat room that this kid was involved in, and they knew, and this retired FBI agent and 5 other people knew about
His intent.
30 minutes before and did nothing.
Did they know where he was going to do it, or they knew the actual grocery store?
I believe so. Actually, do I have it here? I don't know. I do.
I mean, if that's the case, why wouldn't they call the grocery store
Yeah.
first and say,
Says-
close your doors, lock them,
He knew.
and then call the cops?
So, right here, law enforcement officials in Buffalo, New York, are reportedly investigating whether a retired federal agent, along with
So it's an investigation. So it's an allegedly.
yeah, they're looking into it. Obviously, it wouldn't get this far if it wasn't some truth to it.
Yeah, some modicum of truth in there.
But so anyways, yeah, along with at least 5 other individuals knew about, and I'm not going to say the guy's name, plan to murder black people at Tops supermarket earlier this month, and then approximately 30 minutes before they carried it out, authorities believe the 6 individuals were part of a group that regularly communicated with this guy in an online chat room. Yeah, so just another case, and let's look too is pretty much every one of these things that's ever happened. These people have been on the FBI's watch list and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so that I'm not an absolutist that everybody gets a gun, because not everybody has the training, skill set, the mindset to own a weapon.
Some people have no interest in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Like a lot of
they don't
people,
even
like,
care. Like
whatever.
Because
But-
they know that there's 1 point, whatever it is, it's over more than 1 gun per person. So there's over 300 million weapons in America.
Let's test the theory right now, okay? So the shooter in Texas, he apparently there was these. Let me find it so I can just.
All these things, as you start looking into them, it makes you uneasy to realize
This one right here.
Some of those are those verified to be? Because I saw somebody said some of those are not actually the person.
Yeah, that's what they already say, though, isn't it? Well, that's not real.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But anyways, there's plenty of signs this kid had mental issues. Supposedly he was dressing as like in a dress and all this crap. But remember, right now, I can guarantee it right now. If we're like, okay, listen, if you are male or female and you're dressing in the opposite sex and blah blah blah, and you want to have sex changes and all that, you're mentally not capable of owning guns, and I guarantee the left will be like, that's ridiculous, blah 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, they just want your guns. And why would you want our guns? Because you plan on doing something that people would shoot you for. You know? Like, that's the only reason. There's all these signs about this kid.
The argument is so you and I own weapons.
Allegedly.
I have no desire to ever. I was taught at, like, I don't know, when I was old enough to understand the English language, that you treat those with respect. You don't point it at.
You never point a gun at a person.
Yeah. It's
always in a safe direction.
Right. Like, I mean, but there's like a set of safety rules and initiatives that you go through if you're responsible.
Sane
and
people,
most of us are responsible, and barring some whatever, like, there's just no way that I don't know. Just
sane people don't shoot people. It just doesn't happen.
Well, unless they're defending themselves.
Right. But like this stuff, you don't just suddenly like. It just doesn't happen.
You and I can't make sense of it because there's something that is not right in those individuals' minds that cause them to do that.
We could have an AR-15 on this table right here for eternity, and it will never shoot anybody. Huh? How's that possible? Because I thought that gun was just like this horrible, violent gun. But no, it's the person that pulls the trigger. But just like everything, gun stuff is the only thing we ever blame the tool. If it's drunk driving, we blame the driver. If it's whatever, it's always the person's responsibility, except when it comes to a gun. Now all of a sudden it's the gun's fault. It's gun manufacturer's fault, blah, blah, blah.
No, this country that's what has protected us and will continue to protect us. I don't think it's necessarily going anywhere because there are enough responsible gun owners that understand the value and importance of having an armed citizenry. Just like the Democrats that were pushing to send money so that we can arm every Ukrainian citizen to defend themselves against Russia. That's why we have the ability here, so we don't have to get money from other countries, but citizens can go out and buy them themselves, and they're armed and ready. Also, they can hunt. That's like a side effect, right? Like, not a side effect, but yes, there are weapons for hunting.
Right.
And there are weapons to protect and defend yourself.
Right. Exactly.
And your town, and your state, and your country. Like, that's what it's for.
So the last thing was...
So this will be our last video. We'll be grounded after this one.
Yeah, right.
We're trying to talk some common sense. I think this is common sense. This isn't...
So back to the Texas shooting thing.
American politics. Study the Constitution and the Founding Fathers' debates about all of this.
Yeah, they don't really teach it in school anymore because they don't want
study
people to
their
be
debate.
educated.
They did in AP histories. They'd have read some of the Federalist Papers where they go back and forth about
AP.
different...
So what? Maybe top 15% of the class actually does history. They all should do, like, every single class. You shouldn't graduate high school unless you know the Constitution, what it's about, why it's there. You know.
Like why it's...
Why it's
when
written
we
the way
were
it is.
kids, we were taught it's the most important document. And now, nightly, they trash it on the news and everything else.
The left's
And
been trying to
people
get rid
will
of the
believe
Constitution
news.
for a long time.
They're trying to make their headway with it.
Now, let's clarify when I say left. I'm not talking liberal people. I'm not talking 99% of the people that listen to this show or live in this town. We're
Right.
talking about this little minute little speck on the map that think they
They
speak
have a
for us.
louder voice
Exactly.
because they control the mechanisms of influence, such as journalism and
Yeah.
TV and movies and everything else. Well, movies kind of glorifies always that lone guy out there defending and protecting. Usually, what it comes down to.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the Texas thing again for just a minute. And obviously, so that people don't get misconstrued here, that it was a horrible tragedy and it needs to always be remembered as
I
that.
don't wish that on any family, any community ever.
It's
horrible.
You know, one party in our government likes to take advantage of, these types of things and push their crap on the rest of us. And it's disgusting, honestly. But
Oh yeah, what they should do is, with all of these cases, because not just that one, is find out what the common denominator is amongst them all. And usually there's some type of mental breakdown of some kind.
Well, so here's a question I have, and this.
So we should address the mental issues. We should encourage people to eat healthy, stop eating McDonald's for every second meal. And I think I've said it on here before, but McDonald's is cheaper than groceries sometimes.
Now it's almost always cheaper.
But you know what I mean? So you can go and buy junk food at McDonald's and feed your family cheaper than you can trying to cook a nice meal for your family.
Yeah, fruit and vegetables cost more than, Little Debbie snacks.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this will be coming out more and more and more and more, obviously, as time goes on. But I have a question, and I know a lot of people in this country have a question, and if you don't question this, then I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, but why did the police not enter the building for 40 minutes?
I know you hear all kinds of...
40 minutes, Steve. They arrested some parents, did all kinds of stuff, didn't go in there. So I was a firefighter for 11 years. And if I got to a building fire, say I was the first one on scene, and I had my gear, but I don't have an air pack or any of that stuff, and they're like, there's kids in there. Even if I didn't have my gear, I'm going in that building, unless it's fully involved where it's like, it's way, way past, okay? You're going in the building. That's just how it is. And I know police officers are the exact same way. And we're very, very pro-police on this show, and we will always be very, very pro-police. But I have a question about this, and I want to know why they let that guy shoot and shoot and shoot and not go in there. And if you're so blind to see, well, it should have never happened anyway, so we need to overlook that. No, we do not need to overlook that.
You look at
Someone
every
needs to be held
facet.
accountable. And so there's one hero out of this whole story, and this is why I'm really mentioning it. So, and I'm just going to read exactly what, pretty much what was written here. And I'm sure if you're on Facebook, you've seen it all over Facebook. And I heard about that day, about that Border Patrol agent. So, anyways, in case anyone missed it, the man that killed the school shooter in Texas wasn't even wasn't an on-duty officer. It was a parent and a spouse of a fourth-grade teacher. He just happened to be a Border Patrol agent. He was getting a haircut when his wife started texting him that there was a school shooter. He grabbed his barber, so he was getting a haircut at the time. He grabbed his barber's shotgun. In Texas. Rushed to the school, ran into the school past 19 officers that were sitting on scene while children were being killed. He then evacuated his wife and his daughter. He went back in, shot the suspect, along with another deputy Border Patrol agent who was eating lunch. Along with another who was eating lunch, drove 40 miles to jump into action. These men need to be recognized, and this one man's name is Jacob. Say his last name so I don't butcher it, please. Alvarado. So that's the real hero out of this story, is that man right there who was getting a haircut. And he's a Border Patrol agent at that. It's not even a sheriff or whatever.
And fortunately, the barber had a shotgun probably sitting there in his...
Somewhere right there, yeah.
Because it's Texas, and Texas takes gun safety and gun rights it's a big deal there, because in Texas, when the state started off, they had to defend for themselves, basically. You know what I mean? There was nobody to call.
Alamo, Spanish. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was all or nothing. If you wanted to survive, you had to be prepared to fight.
This is something that should be brought before a congressional hearing this week. Is why did they not go in? And then they should be honoring this guy that did.
What happened in Parkland?
Yeah, and they said they'll never do it again, remember? Chief sat here and said that that's not
how they're trained.
Not how they're trained. That's not what they do.
Those old methods. The new methods are you go
Right.
in.
You go in the second you can to get those kids out of that school no matter what. Get them out of the situation, move them, whatever.
That's why we hold police in high esteem and firefighters and military is because
Right.
there's a, if that's the job that you have chosen to do, there is a chance that you can die doing your job.
Yeah, and you willingly put your life on the line. And you
And
willingly...
it takes a special type of person to do that.
Right.
That's
Like-
why we celebrate them, like because not everybody can do that or wants to do that.
Right. Right. So that's the big question of the day for me. Why didn't they go in? First officer there should have been in that building. First one. I know I would have been.
Yeah.
Parents are trying to get in to save their kids, and they're stopping them.
I heard they tased one mom.
Arrested one, then let her go. I don't know. The order had to come from above because I don't know any sole officer that would make a decision like that. But someone needs to be held accountable.
It's tough to second guess, right? I do know this in the military.
40
if
minutes.
I give an illegal, immoral, or an unethical order, you don't have to abide by it.
Right. Right. I'm sure you're... I don't know.
So it's
Something's not right.
yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me that that's how it went down. That this gentleman ran with his barber shotgun. If that's true, which I wouldn't doubt
I
it.
just saw that all over, yeah.
That's amazing that he did that, and we need more men and women like
And
him.
he's a border patrol agent. You know, it's not even, like he doesn't ride in a car every day and pull over people and do drug arrests. And he's a border patrol agent. You know, he stops illegals and whatever. He does what border patrol agents do. Not that he's not trained like the rest of them, but that would be kind of like the Newport sheriff going in, or the Sullivan County sheriff going in, who does more corrections kind of stuff and warrant stuff than state police or whatever. But this dude's like, my wife and child are in there. Luckily, he was a border patrol agent, so they let him in. Because I'm sure there was plenty of other parents there with firearms.
Oh yeah, that were ready to go.
That would've went in.
Yeah, because that's what they were begging them. That's on
Right.
tape of the
Yeah.
parents. It's confusing to me that they would, because if you look at the timeline, they were there. I mean, the other guy you said drove from 40 miles away to meet up with his buddy to go in.
Yeah. I've heard longer than 40 minutes. I heard up to like an hour and 10 minutes or
change.
something. But
It's a tragedy, and I'm not trying to make it worse for the parents or anything else.
no.
But there needs to be other questions, like how did this kid afford these 2 rifles?
Right. How did
Like-
he afford rifles that we couldn't afford?
Right.
And he had body armor.
No, he didn't have body armor.
didn't?
That was a rumor that they had said. That's why allegedly the police were waiting outside because he had body armor.
So he didn't have any body armor.
Not according to the article I read yesterday.
But he did too. Well, he only had. Well, there's the other thing I read that, like I said, we're not 100% sure. So now we're going to speculate a little bit. But someone had said that from that area, said that he was outside of the school shooting for like 12 minutes before he even went into the school.
I read.
And he went through an
Initial-
unlocked back door, which is school doors are always locked. So there's a lot.
So one thing that I learned in my career is that the initial reports are always wrong.
Right.
So like they're all like, you'd be surprised at how many initial reports.
But the one
I
thing we
would
do
get,
know
and then
for
they're
fact.
totally different by the time people calm down and you find out
Right.
the truth.
But the
So-
fact is, the fact that we
Well, the
know right
timeline is
now,
the timeline.
yes, that they did not go in for that long period of time.
Right.
We don't know for sure, but that's something I did read, which, like I said, that's a speculation. Don't be going off on that. Like, I read that, but one thing I did see also that, like, basically, it almost sounded like this was a car chase was how it started. Like, he shot his grandmother, then he stopped at the school or in front of the school, jumped out of his vehicle, whatever. Like,
But he didn't know how to drive, so he crashed it,
really?
allegedly. And then that's where I've read 2 different reports. One where he was firing when he was outside,
Right.
and then I read one where he didn't fire when he was outside, that guy didn't see him. So who knows what the truth is. What I do know is a tragedy. Individuals who are severely mentally ill depending on how you define mentally ill, probably don't need to have a weapon.
And unfortunate for this kid, there's no laws out there or laws you could put in place that would have done anything because
Right, 'cause
he was 18 9 days before this happened.
Right.
And as you know, like especially in New Hampshire, before you're 18, whatever you commit for crimes, unless it's like really bad crimes, your record's sealed. So none of this would happen. What gets me is the whole like some people knew about him killing animals and stuff, which is one of the trigger signs. Like, hey, this dude's got some serious issues.
Torturing animals. That's
But which is, like I said, what gets me is it's the gun's fault. It's the gun's fault. No, we have a severe mental illness issue in this country that
we
we
need to
fix.
hold people accountable. He
Right.
he was held to account by that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just hold people accountable. If you did something wrong, you got to face up to it. We've all done stuff wrong, and when you get caught,
But here's the thing, Steve. You're talking crazy because we have two stories today about the government passing stuff to not hold people accountable. One with the drug sign thing and the whole policy there.
And with the driver's licenses.
And the driver's licenses, which with the driver's license you can vote, you can do all kinds of other things. But those are us going to make exceptions for people.
without a border, you have no sovereignty. There's no point in having a country. Like, there's nothing wrong with immigrants. We've talked about this before. I know plenty of people who work their rear ends off. It's expensive and it's hard because they had to prove themselves worthy of becoming a U.S. citizen.
Right. No other country you just get to walk into and be like, hey, I'm here, and you're going to adjust to what I think.
The EU, like they're letting that happen.
That's probably why England got out of the EU.
But they're still coming across in boats to England, if you believe those reports.
Yeah.
France is sending them over, allegedly. Or they were. Maybe they're not anymore, but they were letting them leave from Calais or whatever on rickety old boats, kind of like they used to come from Cuba to Florida. Anyway, I digress. The point is our country is not going to go away. You can't get rid of the Constitution, otherwise it's not the United States of America anymore. And they are totally minimizing and diminishing the effects of the Constitution with each swipe of the pen that they take with executive orders and everything else. It's scary. People should ask questions. I'm not, if you don't want to own a gun, don't own a gun.
Right.
We'll be safe. Put a sign up out front of your house or apartment saying gun-free zone.
Yeah. Because that helps. Oh, Joe Biden was behind that, too. Gun-free zones. When I was in school, all kinds of kids had guns in their rack in the back of their truck. No one was scared. No one was like, Chief comes in here every week, has a gun on him. Never thought for a second, like, oh,
It doesn't
God.
traumatize you? You don't have PTSD from seeing his pistol in his holster?
No, because luckily I grew up in a generation that aren't a bunch of freaking pussies, so.
But on that note,
Yeah, on that note.
the pontifications of Tim and Steve.
Yeah.
Do the right thing, take responsibility for your actions, and try to be better every day. That's the best thing I try to do. I mean, I mess up all the time. I'm like up here on a high horse judging people.
No, we don't. No. I'll judge some shitty parents that.
No, some ideas. Like I have judgments against ideas. Like
Right.
There's no place in my life for communism.
No. Or socialism. Not to the extent of what some people want.
I mean, we have social
Yeah,
programs
we have
in
social
America,
programs.
and they help. Because
Right.
everybody, hopefully I don't ever need a helping hand. But if I do, it's nice to know that I'll wait in line and maybe I won't get approved because, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So remember today, Unified Track meet at Alvarine, 3:30. But then middle school softball and baseball will be at Sunapee at 5:30. So if you're out and about, you can swing in, support these kids.
Yeah.
You're
And tomorrow
welcome.
is the middle school and high school family step-up night.
Yep.
So fifth graders can learn middle school, and then eighth graders can figure out high school. Be
Yeah.
involved, try to show up, walk around with your kids, get to know some of the teachers.
I think at the end of the day, it's kind of been a rough show. I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah, this is kind of a rambling show. There's we talked
Yeah,
about
but-
some different things, but
But at the end of the day, we just want you to get involved, especially in your community. That's what like the whole purpose is.
Yeah.
And don't just like stop watching the freaking news. The news is nothing but fake crap that, you know, you got a few little stories here and there. Like, people got to like get involved and check it out for yourself, right? Like, why do you keep just blindly following everything instead of researching and like, well, maybe I should look into this.
Yeah, it'd be like listening to what Sean Hannity has to say about some policy that the Army's trying to pass, and then not asking a guy like me that
Right.
did help write, you know, at least personnel policies for the Army. Like, you would think that my opinion would mean more to some people than Sean Hannity's, for example. But it won't. They'll be like, well, that's just on Hannity. Who are you?
Exactly.
Someone who questions things and researches and
thing
spends their
always
whole
gets
life
me-
doing this. That's who I am.
The thing that always gets me, like, for instance, Fox News, okay? So, the 3 night shows or whatever, like, they're all the same. You have Hannity, you have Laura Ingraham, which I like Laura Ingraham, but another one, I don't know. I don't watch, I just know them. I don't watch it. I don't watch news, but it's the same thing. They sit there on their shows, they have millions of viewers, and they do the same thing we've kind of done today. But
To get you riled up and angry.
But they have no action to anything. But that's not what's happening here, because me and you are involved with, like,
Yeah, we're going out
Everything.
trying to.
we're in the community all the time. We continue to be in the community. We try to get involved. We try to inform people of things. And that's what you need to do. You need to go out. You need to get involved. You need to make phone calls. Call your senators up and be like, why was it okay for you to send $40 billion to Ukraine that doesn't even want to end the war, but why don't you spend the $40 billion on, you know, school security? Why? Why don't we do that?
Or open
Well, we
up
could.
some mental health institutions again like we used to have.
But no.
I'm not saying lobotomize people. I'm saying get them a place where they can go to get help.
Well, because in the line of these left people, you can't do that because it's discriminatory. You can't say they can't go in the woman's room even though they're a man. You can't do any of that. But we'll complain about gun violence because, you know, these mentally ill people that you're enabling, you are passing laws to
Commit
protect,
crimes.
are protecting crimes. This is why these nut jobs shouldn't be in charge, and they need to go bye-bye. You look at every city that has horrible crime and everything else going wrong, look up who runs those cities. Same old, same old.
Yeah,
And we're supposed to follow their lead.
no,
I don't think so. I was born at night, but not last night.
On that note, then we'll end with Tim's take.
American flag shirt?
I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got my New Hampshire. Got a
You do?
Yeti on there. It's got the White Mountains, a full moon. I think it's a.
You even have a hat, different hat today?
Yeah, it's Meade County.
Meade County.
Zeta went to school there 1 year
Cool.
in Kentucky.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. And, yeah, enjoy your day. It's beautiful out. Get out. Enjoy your week. Get involved.
Yeah,
Ask
spend
questions.
time outside. Get some sunlight.
Yeah.
Spend time with your family. Do some research outside of Wikipedia and Google.
Yeah.
But even then, if you read enough of them, you'll start seeing the whole picture. Like if you read 5 different articles from 5 slanted publications, you can start discerning the truth from it. When you start recognizing their opinionated words and how they try to use
Because there's a little bit of
adjectives.
truth to every slanted story. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
All right, guys. For the Tim and Steve show, thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.